You know, if you told me that at 24 years old I was going to be hosting this graduation ceremony for medical school, I think I'd be a lot more successful than a teacher. But I don't know. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank you and welcome you all for coming. We gather here today to celebrate and validate the graduation. Stop texting. This is your graduation for medical school of Joanna and Kevin. As we all know, we are living in an extraordinary time due to the pandemic, and for that reason, Joanna and Kevin were not able to have a proper commencement ceremony with their classmates. So this afternoon, we will try to honor their great accomplishments in this small but meaningful ceremony. We also would like to wish them best of luck on their new life in Connecticut as they will start their residency in a few short weeks. Next, we will have a few words from the graduates' parents. John, will you please come down? Be our first speaker this evening.
Well, thank you very much for the introduction.
Well, he's not wearing the box.
Let's say a few words here. Wow, what a day this is, huh? And a great accomplishment that we are here celebrating. I was going through the mail this morning, and I found a letter for Joanna Kukla, MD. And I said, wow, a Kukla is a doctor. That's when I was growing up, you know, I thought such a goal was unattainable. And when Joanna expressed her desire to be a doctor, I just kept quiet. Encouraged her, you know, kept my doubts to myself. Well, and you applied yourself and achieved what I thought was impossible. And along the way, you found a great guy, got married, so man, life is good. 2 doctors in the family. Who would have thought? So when you guys come over to visit, when they come over and start talking medicine, I gotta say, I usually don't have a clue what they're talking about with those big words. And it's not just them though. It happens with Jessica when she starts talking about how a website works and all the insides of that. And my only hope is with Marianne, my youngest daughter, who's going to be an engineer. I'm trying to hang with her, but some of that programming software they didn't teach it back when I went to school. You know, that happened to my father when I was growing up, and I didn't think it was going to happen to me, but my kids are getting smarter than me. I'd like to thank my wife Anna for pulling all of this together. This is all her thinking and getting it, and I'd like to thank her especially for suggesting we do it here at my parents' house. My kids, Joanna especially, had the benefit of both my parents, Jaja and Busha, here when she was young, and my kids all benefited and learned from spending time growing up here. And I know that they are smiling, looking down at us. And it was a good excuse to clean up the yard, as parties always are here. I'm really excited for you guys in the next chapter. You're like moving to Connecticut, someplace new, and work and you know, serious work at a serious time for the hospitals and the first responders. I know you'll do just fine. I'm just waiting to hear the stories. Good thing, Connecticut's, I mean, far away, someplace new. It's a good destination, someplace I've never been, Anna's never been, and it's not as far as Arizona, last time you guys left. So I know Anna and I are planning on making the trip once you settled in, and when that baby comes, you can count on us to help. All right, and with that, I'd like to bring up my beautiful wife Anna to say a couple words. And again, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm gonna have to read because I'm not good at improving. So, first, Joanna, you have so many wonderful qualities. You are a self-starter, a leader, a motivator. You're not afraid to work hard to get things done. And I could get, you know, honestly, I could keep on going, enumerating all your qualities. And of course, I'm not biased at all. The first time you showed us that you were going places in life was back, way back when your AAU basketball coach asked you to get sponsorships for the team. I don't know if you remember that. So you and your friend Kaylin went from business to business on Main Street, Wyandotte, and Grosseau, soliciting donations from business owners. And I'm sure you did all the talking because I remember Kaylin was very shy. And you got 3 sponsors, $220 for your team, and you were only 13 years old. And I thought, what a gutsy little girl. So unlike Dad, I never doubted that this day would come and that you would one day accomplish wonderful things. To say that I am proud of you and Kevin is an understatement. I'm ecstatic, I'm overjoyed, and I admire you both very much. This is a big deal. I was telling John the other day that it's like, you know what? You know, our firstborn and her husband are going to be doctors real soon. And I honestly, I still can't believe it. But it's true, you did it. You both worked hard and endured 4 years of trials and tribulations. I'm sure there were many hours spent studying, many nights with nerves and anxiety, preparing for the MCAT, I remember that, and then for the boards, exams, and many other tests that I'm sure you don't even want to think about it anymore. So this is why we're here. This is why we wanted to honor you today and to give you all the recognition you earned and rightly deserve. So that's why you're wearing the gown and cup and everything. So I know this has been quite a journey for both of you. Starting with your 4 years at Michigan State, where you met and decided that medical school was going to be your goal. Then preparing further by moving to Arizona, where you tested the waters of adult independence for the first time. I know you were both very excited about that move, but we were sad for a while. Unfortunately, you came back. You came back home. But now we're going to say goodbye once again, and your journey goes on. You will continue to seek more knowledge, more challenges, and you will overcome more obstacles and fears. And after all, that's how growth happens. And you have done a great deal of growth. You're going to make great doctors. Your heart and soul are in the right place. Your calling is to help people, and you chose medicine as your vehicle. And finally, I want to say that I'm going to miss you. I will miss our Sunday dinners and our conversations about what you're currently doing and learning. I'm going to miss Kevin's passionate medical discourses that sometimes I had no clue what they were about. But seriously, I hope you feel very satisfied for your great achievement. I hope you're as proud of yourselves as we all are of you. And congratulations, and we love you very much. And now I'd like to turn it over to Mike.
Thank you very much, and John, for this incredible celebration you put together here. This has you written all over it, and this is so classy and just amazing. Just really, what a wonderful time to share together, to be together, and celebrate the great accomplishments of these two wonderful young people in our lives. I guess I feel like this is a passing of the torch. As I end my career in medicine and you guys begin yours, I know that the field of medicine is super exciting for both of you, and you have so much passion and energy and enthusiasm for the many challenges that you will face. And I know in your hearts, you guys I couldn't feel better about the future of the profession of medicine in hands of people with the kind of passion and enthusiasm and positive outlook, can-do attitude that you guys have. We'll all be in good hands with people like you who are going to take over our future and care for us as we need your skills and your services. One of the things I wanted to say to you is that your patients will benefit greatly from all the extra training and the scientific knowledge that you guys have acquired, and all the learning and all the new things that come up, the articles, the new discoveries that we make. You'll take those and you'll tuck those in your pocket, and you will use all those tricks in order to be able to help your patients, and they won't know anything about it. They will assume that you know your stuff, but really it's up to you to know your stuff, and you will, because you're very you can't help yourself but to do that kind of thing. That's just you being you, to be the best that you can be. But the thing that your patients are going to notice much more than your scientific knowledge is how you treat them, and it's your interactions with them and your ability to connect with your patients, to learn their stories, to hear their stories, to get to know them as people. That's what people are going to really remember about you, and that's the way that you really make your greatest impact in the lives of your patients, is by showing that you care that way. They'll assume you know your stuff, and you will, but your real magic is going to be in how you interface with them, and you guys are going to be awesome at that, because you're people. You've got really good interpersonal skills, and you're going to do a really good job with that. And that's where the fun of really helping people is being able to know when and how to use your magic at those times when it's called for. So have fun. I wanted to walk you guys through the Hippocratic Oath, and I know that this is just for everybody else. This is from Hippocrates. This is a tradition in medicine that all young doctors take this oath, and it's something that's been around for a couple thousand years now. It's a big tradition. The Hippocratic Oath replaced the Hippocratic Oath, which came right before that. A lot of people don't know this. And the Hippocratic Oath was much shorter, and it said, first, do no harm. You guys probably heard that, right? First, do no harm, and then go nuts. That's the way it was, but they replaced it then with something a little bit longer. So that's the Hippocratic Oath, and that's got a little bit more to it. So if you guys could come up here for a minute, I'm gonna hand you each Okay, so I will read this, and then you will repeat it after me. Okay? All right. I do solemnly swear by that which I hold most sacred.
I do solemnly swear by that which I hold most sacred,
that I will be loyal to the profession of medicine and just and generous to its members.
that I will be loyal to the profession of medicine and just and generous to its members.
That I will lead my life and practice my art in uprightness and honor.
That I will lead my life and practice my art in uprightness and honor.
That into whatever house I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick to the utmost of my powers.
That into whatsoever house I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick to the utmost of my powers.
I hold myself aloof from wrong, from corruption, and from the tempting of others to vice.
I hold myself aloof from wrong, from corruption, and from the tempting of others to vice.
That I will exercise my art solely for the care of my patients.
that I will exercise my art solely for the care of my patients,
and will give no drug and perform no operation for a criminal purpose,
and will give no drug and perform no operation for a criminal purpose,
far less suggested.
far less suggested.
That whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of people,
That whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of people,
which is not fitting to be spoken,
which is not fitting to be spoken,
I will keep inviolably secret.
I will keep inviolably secret.
These things I do promise,
These things I do promise,
and in proportion as I am faithful to this my oath,
and in proportion as I am faithful to this my oath,
may happiness and good repute be ever mine,
may happiness and good repute be ever mine,
and the opposite if I shall be forsworn.
and the opposite if I shall be forsworn.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Congratulations. And Jessica?
I'm happy to inform that the heavy part of the ceremony is over. At this time, you are encouraged to refill your beverages. Marianne? All right. Some light comedy. This quarantine has been crazy, right? I never expected it to last this long, and I'm sure, like many of you, I've picked up a few new hobbies these couple of weeks living at home. One of them is baking, and in fact, yesterday I was making some cookies, and I accidentally swallowed some food coloring. But luckily, I called my doctor, and she said I'm okay, but I still feel like I've died a little inside. Thank you. Please calm yourself. I'm a big fan of the medical show Grey's Anatomy. I often reference it when I try to join in conversation with Joanna and Kevin. I've watched all 15 seasons, and there's just some characters I'm not a fan of. For example, the conversations between the anesthesiologist and the brain surgeon are mind-numbing. Now more than ever is a fascinating time to be in medicine. There are so many amazing medical breakthroughs happening that are dramatically changing our quality of life. And in fact, the other day on NPR, I heard this interview with a guy who his whole left side was cut off. And it was a really difficult surgery, but he's all right now. When I was preparing these jokes, I tried to find some that were specific to Joanna and Kevin's specialties, but it turns out PMS jokes aren't funny. Period. You know the old saying, "An apple a day keeps a doctor away"? Well, studies have shown that that is only true if you aim well enough. Thank you. Lastly, I'll leave you with a bit of this trivia. A UCLA study showed that more doctors have cats than dogs. And obviously, Joanna and Kevin are in good company. And so when the researchers asked the doctors why that is, the doctors replied that it's because dogs can't operate an MRI machine, but cats can. Okay, now onto the competitive gaming portion of the evening. One second, yeah. Okay.
Do I give them to them?
Yeah, give it to them.
So we got a Kevin face. Okay. And a Joanna face. And you get two as well.
Where should we face them?
So I think you should turn the chairs or face the crowd so they can see your answers. So I'm gonna read off a few who's the most likely to do something.
So they have to face away from each other, or
It
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. The crowd just needs to see their reactions.
Like who they pick.
Yeah, who they pick.
John, give them the white chair. Here. No, these are the chairs.
This is the throne. Okay.
You guys are doctors, so
Yeah, that's very heavy.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask some questions about medical school as well as the coming future, and you guys have to lift the face of who you think is more likely to do this thing. Make sense?
Makes sense.
All right. So in medical school, who had the most late night study sessions? Interesting.
Study.
Who
No, I studied
was
that time.
who was most likely to study 5 minutes before an exam and still ace it? Who was more likely to fall asleep during a lecture? Who is better at night shifts? Who is most likely to forget to wash their scrubs? Gross.
I've never forgotten to wash my scrubs.
Who is more likely to fall asleep in their scrubs? Who is more likely to eat vending machine food instead of pack a lunch? Who is more likely to take a patient's pulse without a clock in the room?
I've done that.
Who is more likely to get lost in the hospital their first week? Who would make the worst patient? Who is more likely to be the attending's favorite? Who is more likely to laugh inappropriately in front of a patient? And finally, who is more likely to talk about their cats with a patient? All right. Thank you for enduring that. Great audience.
Does anybody else want to go and say something?
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
Do the doctors want to say?
I want to say one thing.
You should tell me.
I want to say one thing.
You'd love your flag.
Wow. So thank you so much, everybody, for doing this. Joanna told me that something was going on, and I thought she was like imagining things, but I guess she's more perceptive than I am. This is so wonderful. John, Anna, Marianne, Jesse, T-Dog. There's T-Dog. And I guess Nick and Sarah and my maybe helped a little bit. This is amazing, and I guess like when I was sitting there, I was thinking about with COVID. I think all of us have had so many things in our lives that were changed or taken away, and I think everyone's had some sense of like lamenting the things that we didn't have in this time. And as I was sitting there at this amazing graduation ceremony, I was reminded that sometimes breaking tradition is a good thing, and this was so much better than the real graduation that we were supposed to have. This was way more special, and we got to play fun games and get good jokes and have heartfelt comments from people that actually know us instead of some random person talking on the screen. So this was really special. Thank you, everybody. And I say that for Joanna too.
Hold on.
Yep.
Apologies, it's a bit
Did
long-winded.
you forget your speech?
This concludes our ceremony. Thank you all for coming. The end.
Man, I'm important.